were 7 years old, what happened?
When I was 7, I was bothering my mother at lunch one day, and she said, go look at the books, because like most middle-class parents, they had invested in a set of the World Book Encyclopedia. And so I sat on the floor and randomly pulled a volume. It happened to be P, and flipped through it, and it fell open to a 2-page article on puppetry. And I was studying this and looking at this picture of a man and his wife surrounded by all these marionettes. And I thought, And my mother called me for lunch. So I looked at it and thought, well, that's what I'll do for the rest of my life, and closed the book. And that's what I've been doing for the rest of my life.
And that was the moment.
Yeah. The joke in the family was always, why didn't that fall open to podiatrist, plumber, pediatrician, anything in the P volume but that? But it fell open to puppets, so.
What does receiving this award, the Governor General's Performing Arts Award for Lifetime Achievement, what does that mean to you?
Receiving this award, and I don't mean to be dismissive, is somewhat embarrassing, because it's just like, no, my people don't get these things. But on the same token, I thought, this is for my craft too. I'm just one practitioner in my craft. But if I've done anything to make that craft a little better, then I happily accept this on behalf of puppetry, because we are a low art. We are we're a circus art. And so this is a pretty heady recognition. And yay. Yay.
The GG Award is an award for lifetime achievement, and yet you are still full on.
Oh, I was on tour until 2 weeks ago, so lifetime achievement is nice, but what is middle age? What is middle career? And who does a 3-act play anymore? Nobody. There's no 3-act plays anymore. But if in a career this is my 3rd act, I'm going to stretch it out. But also, the 3rd act of a play needs to reference the 1st act and tie all the loose threads together, So I'm enjoying this part of my life and career, because I don't have to worry about ideas or how to build stuff. All of that stuff is in me now. So I can just make it. And that's pretty exciting. I just wish I had the energy of 24-year-old Ronnie, but I'll work with this.
What can puppetry do differently than a theater show where we're seeing humans on stage?
I think the difference in puppet theater versus, as we puppeteers call it, ordinary theater, or the human theater, I think the difference is because those characters exist only to be themselves. So, when I've gone to the theater and seen a beloved Canadian actor on stage, I go, oh, she was great last season in this, or, she's doing a TV movie of the week, and I don't have a reference. That thing, Edna Rural, my little farm lady, is just Edna Rural. And so she's a little iconic vessel that talks and moves around, but the audience gets to fill in the rest of their frame of reference. I mean, Edna's played all over the world, and she's from Turnip Corners, Alberta, but I have so many people say, I grew up with an Italian woman down the street who's exactly that. In New Zealand, people said, oh my God, that's my aunt. So the fact that these characters just exist to be that allows the audience to attach a lot of themselves to them.
What's the best advice you ever got?
Best advice I ever got? Go, work, do. Just do. Don't worry about where it's going to get you. Just always be making something. It will lead you to the next thing. Don't sit around.
And what advice would you give to young, aspiring artists of any?
The advice I would give to young artists, it would take days, because no one wants to sit and listen to that. I think be patient. Just begin. Don't worry about where you're going to land. Just begin, because the doing is what leads you. And, I read a line in a puppet book when I was a kid. It said, hunger, thirst, learn. And I loved that. It's the practice. And I think also be patient to not call yourself an artist too quickly. I see a lot of young people in the performing arts doing that. I'm an artist. And I think it's better to call yourself the craft. I'm a puppeteer. You're a dancer. Dance. you're an actor, act. You're a singer, sing. Let the artistry come later when people tell you you're an artist. I didn't call myself an artist until I was 60 years old because I had a certain standard of what that would be, and it hadn't happened. And I remember the day it happened, and I thought, okay, I will now be an artist, I guess. But first and foremost, I'm a puppeteer. So be your trade and learn your trade inside out because it's your safety net.
So, Ronnie, when you put a hand inside a puppet, because
A hand
sometimes
puppet,
there's
yeah.
a hand puppet, tell us how your fingers work there, because it's different and I love it.
Yeah, this is actually a sign that my little gang we do to each other is there's many ways to manipulate a hand puppet. Americans do this. In certain parts of Spain, they do this. There's some people do this now, but this is how I operate a hand puppet, just because it's more symmetrical. But this is also ASL for I love you, and so I feel that when I'm working a hand puppet, I'm actually physically saying to the audience, I love you. And this has become a little symbol between my gang and I of when we say goodbye, it's that, which is a beautiful thing.